down, I guess I'll share some ideas about the whole stage performance stuff. This is going to be very opinion-based. Just what I like, feedback I've received from other people, students, just friends, kind of stuff you hear about. When it comes to, when it comes to like the bigger bands, like really well-known bands, they all have some sort of elaborate show, because they're doing more than just playing songs. They're putting on a whole show. Now, obviously you need quite a bit of money to be doing a big production and have just a ridiculous amount of lights and props and pyrotechnics and all that stuff. So what can someone in your situation do, and in your band, seeing as how you're already going to be spending quite a bit of money just being able to do the tour type stuff? The thing, like when I did stuff with Low Korean Mist, my group, when it was a group, with myself, a bass player, and a drummer, I basically just, I really did. I just went fucking apeshit on all kinds of stuff. I really, just let the music move me in whatever way it wanted to. And that's always kind of been how I've always performed when it comes to anything I've been in. As it's especially any band I've been in, and especially in the more recent shows, more recent years. Like, cause if you think about it, I like how one student put it, and one complaint I have with a lot of local acts or unprofessional acts, you could say unsigned, but I'm just going to say unprofessional, because it looks unprofessional, when people are just standing around looking bored, or they're just focused on their instrument the whole time, and they're not really kind of getting into it. I mean, you don't have to interact with the crowd in such a way where you're looking everybody dead in the eye, and you don't have to, talk to them, or, getting everyone to clap along is sometimes worth a shot. So, I mean, we do this at the end of one of our songs where the beat's going, and it makes sense for us to clap and all that. Sometimes people clap, sometimes they don't. I would... One cliche thing that I invite you and your band to not do is try and get a mosh pit going. If a mosh pit happens, it happens. But I've noticed this seems to be a typical thing. Metal bands are always trying, especially unsigned ones, they're always trying to get damn mosh pits going, or trying to get this and that from the audience. And I've even had one band be all sarcastic and snotty because there wasn't a big crowd watching them, and they weren't really getting the response that they wanted. And that's, in my opinion, never a good way to try and change how things are. I mean, the band, if the crowd's into you, then they're into you, great. But I would leave out any snarky remarks. But anyway, back to doing stuff on stage. You don't have to do anything really elaborate. I mean, as long as you're at least moving your head, you're actually showing that you're enjoying what you're doing, having a good time. I think that's the biggest thing. Just standing around and just focusing on your instrument, it's boring. Move around in your area of the stage. You don't have to go back and forth on the whole stage. If you can, great, but that's not necessary. And I imagine you're going to be playing some stages that don't have a whole heck of a lot of size. And if you're not playing wireless, it's going to be very difficult having cords, cables, whatnot, all over the place. But, move around, it's like a lot of times, like with the Infinity, what we kind of did is we started to get more structured with how we are during the songs, which, depending on how you want the band to be, I mean, you got some bands that have stuff that's choreographed all over the place, where you have to do a certain thing during a certain part of the song and have a certain feel for this part and this part and that part and whatnot. And it works visually on a lot of levels. The only thing I take issue with on that is it's not completely getting lost in the music and just being in the moment right there, because it's all planned out. But sometimes having a plan laid out can be very beneficial, because then you kind of dial in like really cool moments that happened. So pros and cons both ways. So for example, like a pretty basic thing is, like, during the chorus of a song, everyone goes up to the front of the stage with the front man. During the verses and like the slower stuff or whatever, you come back to like the middle of the stage or all the way to the back. So you kind of like, judging on the intensity of parts of the songs, is like kind of like how far up you are on the stage. Make a conscious effort. You can make a conscious effort to show more energy during the more energetic parts, but then again, that kind of goes along with the whole getting in, like letting the music move you kind of thing. I don't think we really talked too much about different bands that you like, but what the best stage show I've ever seen is when I saw Motley Crue on their last show here, when they're starting their whole farewell tour. Yeah, because they had so much stuff done with props and lights and the pyrotechnic stuff and dancers coming out on stage and all kinds of shit. Obviously, you're not going to be doing something like that, but it was absolutely amazing what they did. But, Iron Maiden being my favorite band, they definitely have a lot of stuff on stage to give some kind of visual thing. But it's really Bruce Dickinson and Steve Harris, the singer and the bass player, and there's another, and one of the guitarists, Yannick Gears. They move around a lot. I mean, you notice, like, if you watch Bruce Dickinson, he's running all over that stage. Steve Harris is running all over the stage, too. And it's one of the ways, they get the crowd excited, because they're running around and having a good time and showing that. So I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to stage performance is, show the audience you're having fun, really getting into it. I'll share some links of performance stuff that I've done, so you can just see what things that I've done. Some of it will be Infinity, or one of them will be Infinity that a fan took stuff of. And the same thing with Locrian Mist. It's going to be, actually, I'm not sure what the links are going to be coming from. So whatever it is, I'll give you a description of what it is when I send you the email. So without getting like a feedback right now, definitely making guesses on stuff you might want to hear with this. So we'll definitely continue on talking about this stuff if you want. You had more questions. So this Sunday I will not be here. That's the one I'm out. So I know, yes, right, you're out on the very last Sunday. So the 21st, so June 21st, which is Sunday, I will be back for that. So that's our next class, June 21st. So yeah, I'll send links and whatnot to you so you can just kind of see stuff I've done. But the other thing you do, just like watch concert footage of bands that you really like. Yeah, or just pay attention to different live things and see what looks good to you. and see what ways you can implement that during the performance. Because, yeah, like one student said how he saw this one band. I don't remember which band it was, but they basically were just all standing around. They weren't really doing much. And he said, you know, if I wanted to look at a poster and listen to their music, I could have done that at home for free. You know, I paid money for a show. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. People are paying money for a show. Give them a show. It's more than just playing the music. It's getting into it. Yeah. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed the video footage I'll send you. And just start studying live footage that you enjoy. And take notes from that. And we'll see you on the 21st.